My name is Kim Mingyu, and for as long as I can remember, I've been a disappointment. I still remember the day everything changed. I was 6 years old, sitting in the pristine white examination room of Seoul's most prestigious hospital. My mother clutched her Hermes bag so tightly her knuckles turned white, while my father paced near the window, his expensive shoes clicking against the marble floor. They were waiting for the results of my secondary gender test, hoping, praying, that I would be an SS class alpha like they'd dreamed. When Dr. Lee walked in with that apologetic expression, I knew something was wrong. Mr. and Mrs. Kim, he began carefully, your son Mingyu has presented as an Omega. A very high-quality Omega, I should add. My father's roar cut him off. An Omega? We needed a son, an alpha son. That was the moment I ceased being their beloved youngest child and became their greatest shame. Now, 18 years later, I stood in front of my bathroom mirror in my luxury apartment. Paid for by my parents, of course, because even their disappointment came wrapped in expensive packaging. My reflection stared back at me, pale skin, delicate features, soft red lips, and dark eyes that held too much pain for someone only 24 years old. I was beautiful, I knew that much. People told me constantly. But beauty meant nothing when you were a constant reminder of crushed dreams. My phone buzzed on the marble counter. Father's name flashed across the screen. My hands started trembling before I even answered. This was the routine now. The anxiety would hit first, then the tightness in my chest, then the feeling like I couldn't breathe. Hello, Father, I managed, my voice already weak. Mingyu. His voice was cold, businesslike. Your mother and I are hosting a dinner next week with the Young family. Their son is an alpha executive at Samsung. You will attend and make yourself presentable. Perhaps if you can't bring honor to this family as an alpha, you can at least secure a beneficial marriage. Father, No excuses. Your sisters have already done so much for this company. Hannah just closed a 50 billion won deal, and Sujin has been featured in Forbes Korea's 30 Under 30. What have you done? Nothing but waste away in that apartment, drinking and doing God knows what else. Each word was a knife. I'm sorry, Father. I'll be there. You're always sorry. That's the problem. An SS class alpha would never be sorry, they would be successful. He hung up without saying goodbye. I stared at my phone, feeling the familiar darkness creeping in. My psychiatrist called it severe anxiety and stress disorder, diagnosed after my third panic attack landed me in the emergency room 2 years ago. My parents called it weakness, another Omega trait they despised. The pill bottles in my medicine cabinet seemed to whisper my name. Anti-anxiety medication, sleeping pills, and behind them, hidden in a false bottom I'd created, the other things. The substances that made the world blur at the edges, that made my father's voice fade, that made me forget, just for a few hours, what a disappointment I was. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Jae Sung, one of my few friends who didn't care about my family's money or status. Mingyu. Party tonight at Hannam Hills. Private pool, no cameras, just good vibes. You coming? I shouldn't. I had that online business course tomorrow morning, another attempt to prove to my father I could be useful to the company. But when had shouldn't ever stopped me? Send me the address, I typed back. The party was exactly what I expected, excess wrapped in luxury. The penthouse overlooked all of Seoul, its infinity pool seeming to merge with the glittering city lights below. Beautiful people filled every corner, drinks flowing, music pulsing through expensive speakers. I'd already had 3 drinks before I even made it to the pool area. The alcohol helped quiet the voice in my head that sounded too much like my father's. That's when I saw him. He stood apart from the crowd, near the far edge of the pool, and he was magnificent. Tall, easily over 6 feet, with sharp, almost predatory features. His black hair was styled back, revealing a face that could have been carved from stone. He wore a simple black shirt with the sleeves rolled up, revealing intricate tattoos covering his entire left arm. Dragons, tigers, and symbols I didn't recognize, all flowing together in a beautiful, dangerous dance. Something about him called to me. Maybe it was the alcohol, maybe it was the way he seemed completely unconcerned with the party around him, or maybe I was just tired of feeling powerless in every other aspect of my life. I approached him with false confidence, my heart pounding. You're the entertainment for tonight, aren't you? The exotic dancer? He turned to look at me and I nearly stumbled backward. His eyes were dark, intense, and completely focused on me in a way that made my skin burn. A slow, dangerous smile spread across his face. Entertainment. His voice was deep, amused. Something like that. Good, I said, emboldened by his smile and the liquor in my system. I want you for the night. Name your price. Something flickered in his eyes. Surprise maybe, or was it interest? He stepped closer, towering over me, and I caught his scent. Pine, smoke, and something darker that made my Omega instinct scream both danger and desire. You want me for the night? he repeated slowly as if tasting the words. You don't even know who I am. I don't care who you are, I replied, which was partially true. For once, I wanted someone, without thinking about consequences or my family or anything else. I just want to forget everything for a few hours. He studied me for a long moment, his gaze traveling from my face down my body and back up again. I felt exposed, vulnerable, but also more alive than I had in months. What's your name, beautiful Omega? He asked. Mingyu. Kim Mingyu. Kim Mingyu, he repeated, and the way he said my name made something tighten in my core. I'm Kwak Du-min. And I accept your terms, but you should know. He leaned in close, his lips nearly brushing my ear. Once I have you, I don't let go easily. I should have paid attention to that warning. I should have asked more questions. I should have done a lot of things differently. But instead, I took his hand and let him lead me away from the party. Kwak Du-min's car was a sleek black Mercedes that probably cost more than most people's apartments. The drive to his place was silent except for the low hum of the engine and my increasingly rapid heartbeat. He kept one hand on the steering wheel, the other resting on my thigh, possessive, claiming. His penthouse was even more impressive than the party venue, all dark wood and floor-to-ceiling windows. But I barely noticed the decor before his mouth was on mine. The kiss was consuming, demanding, like he wanted to devour every part of me. His hands tangled in my hair, tilting my head back to deepen the kiss. I moaned against his lips, my body responding to his alpha pheromones in ways I'd never experienced before. Bedroom, he growled against my mouth. Too far, I gasped, already working at the buttons of his shirt. He lifted me effortlessly, my legs wrapping around his waist as he carried me to the nearest surface, a leather couch that probably cost more than my monthly allowance. His shirt was already half off, revealing a chest and abdomen sculpted with muscle and decorated with more tattoos. You're beautiful, he murmured, pulling my shirt over my head. His eyes darkened as he took in my pale, slender form. So fucking beautiful and fragile. Like you might break. I won't break, I challenged, even though we both knew it was a lie. His smile was predatory. We'll see. What followed was intense, overwhelming, and completely beyond anything I'd experienced before. Du-min was commanding yet attentive, dominant yet careful. When he finally joined our bodies together, stretching and filling me completely, I felt something crack open inside my chest, something that had been locked away for years. Mine, he groaned against my neck as he moved inside me, his cucumber thick and demanding. Say you're mine, Mingyu. Yours, I gasped, too lost in sensation to think about what that word might mean. I'm yours. We moved together through the night, his hands and mouth learning every inch of my body, his whispered words a mixture of praise and possession. When he bit gently at my neck, not a mating bite but close enough to send electricity through my entire body, I came apart completely, crying out his name. Afterward, as we lay tangled together in his massive bed, we'd eventually made it there, he traced patterns on my skin. Tell me about yourself, Kim Mingyu, he said softly. The gentleness in his voice after such intensity made my eyes sting with unexpected tears. There's not much to tell. I'm just an Omega who disappoints everyone. His hand stilled on my back. Who makes you feel that way? It doesn't matter. It matters to me. I wanted to tell him everything, about my father's cruelty, my mother's coldness, the weight of being the Omega son in a family that valued nothing but alpha strength and success. But the words stuck in my throat. I should tell you, Du-min said after a moment, his voice taking on a different quality, I'm not just anyone. My name, my real name, means something in this city. What do you mean? He pulled back to look at me, his expression serious. I'm Kwak Du-min, the head of the Kwak family. I control most of the underground operations in Seoul. I'm what people call a mafia boss, though I prefer businessman. My blood ran cold. You're, what? I'm telling you this because you need to understand, I wasn't joking when I said I don't let go easily. Now that I've had you, now that I know how perfect you are, I won't let you walk away. You belong to me now, Kim Mingyu. I won't share you with anyone and I won't let you go. Panic flooded through me, cutting through the post-sex haze. That's not, we had one night. That was the deal. I'm changing the deal. I scrambled out of bed, grabbing my clothes. You can't just, I'm not some possession you can claim. He rose slowly, magnificently naked and completely unashamed. You said you were mine. Did you not mean it? It was sex talk. People say things during sex. I don't. He stepped closer. When I say something, I mean it. You're mine now, Omega. The sooner you accept that, the easier this will be. I backed toward the door, my hands shaking as I struggled into my clothes. You're insane. I'm leaving. Mingyu. Stay away from me. I ran. For the next 6 weeks, I lived in a state of constant anxiety. I'd learned quickly that Kwok Do-min wasn't exaggerating about who he was. A simple internet search revealed dozens of articles, most speculative, some confirmed, about the Kwok family's influence over Seoul's underworld. Drug trafficking, illegal gambling, protection rackets. The list went on. And Do-min was at the top of it all. I changed my phone number, stopped going to my usual haunts, and basically became a hermit in my apartment. But even then I felt watched. Sometimes I'd catch glimpses of men in black suits lingering near my building, or a familiar black Mercedes driving slowly past. The stress was killing me. My anxiety, already bad before, became unbearable. I stopped eating properly, stopped sleeping, stopped doing anything except staring at my walls and jumping at every sound. My father's calls continued, each one a fresh reminder of my worthlessness. My sisters texted occasionally, brief messages that showed they cared but were too busy with their perfect alpha lives to really help. I was alone, drowning, and the only thing that helped was the pills and powder I'd hidden away. Then came the call that broke me completely. Kim Ming-yu. My father's voice exploded through the phone. I'd answered without checking because I thought it might be my therapist. Do you know what I just learned? The Young family rejected our dinner invitation because they heard about your reputation. They heard about your drinking, your partying, your complete lack of ambition or discipline. Father, I'm sorry. Sorry? Sorry? You're an embarrassment. Your sisters are building empires while you destroy the family name with your omega weakness. Sometimes I wish. He paused, but I knew what he wanted to say. Sometimes I wish you'd never been born. Just stay away from any company events. I don't want people associating you with our family. He hung up. I stared at my phone, feeling nothing and everything all at once. The tears wouldn't come anymore. I'd cried them all out years ago. Instead, there was just emptiness. The pills called to me. Just a few, I thought. Just enough to stop feeling. I took one. Then another. Then I lost count. The world started spinning beautifully, all the sharp edges softening. I felt myself falling, but it didn't hurt. Nothing hurt anymore. This is better, I thought distantly. Better to feel nothing than to feel like this. I woke to the sound of machines beeping steadily and the smell of antiseptic. My eyelids felt heavy, my mouth dry, my entire body weak. It took several long moments to realize I was in a hospital room. You're awake. That voice. Deep, familiar, and completely unexpected. I turned my head slowly and found Kwok Do-min sitting in the chair beside my bed. He looked exhausted, his hair disheveled, his shirt wrinkled. So different from the immaculate man I'd met 6 weeks ago. What? My voice came out as a croak. What happened? You almost died, he said bluntly, but his eyes held something soft, almost vulnerable. I found you on the floor of your apartment. You'd overdosed. If I'd been 15 minutes later? He didn't finish the sentence. How did you? I've been watching over you, he admitted without shame. I know you thought you were hiding from me, but Ming-yu, I told you, I don't let go. When I couldn't reach you for 2 days, I used my key. You don't have a key to my apartment. A slight smile. I'm a crime boss, beautiful. Getting keys is the least of what I can do. The smile faded. God, Ming-yu, you scared the life out of me. Seeing you there, so pale and still, I thought I'd lost you before I ever really had you. Before I could respond, a doctor entered, a kind-looking woman in her 50s. Mr. Kim, I'm so glad you're awake. I'm Dr. Park. You were brought in 4 days ago suffering from a severe overdose. We had to pump your stomach and you've been unconscious since then. She checked my vitals, her expression serious. Mr. Kim, I need to be frank with you. If you continue using substances like this, especially in your current condition, you will die. Or worse, you'll cause irreparable damage. My current condition? I asked weakly. Dr. Park glanced at Do-min, then back to me. Mr. Kim, you're pregnant. 6 weeks along. The baby survived the overdose, but another incident like this could be catastrophic. The world stopped. Pregnant. 6 weeks. The timing aligned perfectly with that one night. I looked at Do-min, whose expression had shifted from concern to something intense and possessive and tender all at once. Congratulations, Dr. Park continued, oblivious to my internal crisis. But you need to understand, your body is already under significant stress from anxiety and substance abuse. If you want this pregnancy to continue safely, you need to commit to complete sobriety and proper treatment for your mental health. She handed me some pamphlets. I'll give you some time to process. We'll talk more later. After she left, silence filled the room. I stared at the white ceiling, trying to comprehend what I'd just been told. Ming-yu, Do-min said softly. That's when I broke. For the first time in years, I cried, not the quiet, hidden tears I'd shed alone in my apartment, but loud, body-shaking sobs that seemed to tear out of my very soul. I cried for the child I'd been, the disappointment I'd become, the life I'd almost thrown away, and the tiny life now growing inside me that deserved so much better than a broken Omega for a parent. Duman moved to the bed, gathering me into his arms. He held me tightly, one hand cradling the back of my head, the other rubbing soothing circles on my back. "Let it out," he murmured. I've got you, Mingyu. You're not alone anymore." I clung to him like he was the only solid thing in a world that had tilted completely off its axis. And maybe he was. 3 days later, I was released from the hospital with strict instructions, prescriptions for prenatal vitamins, and a referral to a psychiatrist who specialized in treating Omegas with trauma and substance abuse issues. Dumin had barely left my side the entire time. When I was sleeping, he was there. When I woke up panicking, he was there. When the withdrawal symptoms hit, the shaking, the sweating, the nausea, he held my hair back and wiped my face with cool cloths. "Why are you doing this?" I asked him on the second day, my voice hoarse. "You don't know me. We had one night together. One night that gave us a child," he replied, sitting on the edge of my hospital bed. "And one night that showed me the most beautiful broken soul I'd ever encountered." He reached out, gently tucking a strand of hair behind my ear. "I've done terrible things in my life, Mingyu. I've hurt people, destroyed lives, built an empire on fear and blood. But when I'm with you, I feel like maybe I could be something better." "I'm a mess," I whispered. "I'm broken and weak and—" "You're strong," he interrupted firmly. "You've survived years of emotional abuse. You're still here, still fighting, even when everything told you to give up. That's not weakness, Omega. That's strength." His words cracked something open inside me, something that had been frozen for a very long time. Now, as we pulled up to his penthouse, I'd refused to go back to my apartment, not yet. I felt both terrified and strangely hopeful. "You don't have to stay here if you don't want to," Dumin said, carrying my small bag of belongings. "I can set you up somewhere else, somewhere safe where I can still keep an eye on you." I looked up at the building, then at him. "Do you still mean it? What you said before, that you want me to be yours?" "Every word. Even now. Even knowing I'm pregnant and broken and—" "Especially now," he said, his eyes intense. "Mingyu, I want you and our child. I want to build something real with you if you'll let me." I took a deep breath. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to be in a relationship or be a parent or be anything other than a disappointment. "Then we'll figure it out together." He stepped closer, cupping my face gently. "I'm not a good man, Mingyu. I've done things that would horrify you. But I swear on everything I am, I will protect you and our child. I will be whatever you need me to be." For the first time in weeks, I felt something other than despair. It was small, fragile. Hope, maybe, or the beginning of it. "Okay," I whispered. "Let's try." The next few months were the hardest and best of my life. Dr. Choi, my new psychiatrist, was patient and understanding. In our sessions, I finally began unpacking years of trauma, the constant criticism, the conditional love, the feeling of never being enough. "Your parents' treatment of you was abuse," Dr. Choi said during our third session. "Emotional abuse is just as damaging as physical abuse, Mingyu. What you're feeling, the anxiety, the depression, the need to escape through substances, these are normal responses to abnormal circumstances." "But I should have been stronger," I argued weakly. "Strength isn't about enduring abuse silently. Strength is recognizing you need help and accepting it, which is exactly what you're doing now." Therapy was grueling. Some days I left Dr. Choi's office feeling raw and exposed. But Dumin was always there, waiting in the car, ready to hold me if I needed it or give me space if that's what I wanted. He surprised me constantly. The feared Mafia boss was tender with me, patient with my mood swings and pregnancy symptoms, and absolutely devoted to my well-being. "Eat this," he'd say, presenting me with perfectly balanced meals prepared by his personal chef. "Dr. Choi said you need more protein." "I'm not hungry. The baby is hungry. Our child needs you healthy." Our child. Hearing him say it made my heart clench every time. The pregnancy symptoms were intense. Morning sickness that lasted all day, exhaustion, emotional volatility. But mixed with all of that was something I'd never felt before: purpose. One morning, about 3 months into the pregnancy, I stood in front of the bathroom mirror, my hand on my still flat stomach. "Hi, little one," I whispered. "I'm your mama. I'm not very good at anything and I'm pretty broken, but I'm going to try so hard for you. I'm going to be better. You deserve someone who's better. You're already better." I jumped, finding Dumin leaning in the doorway watching me with soft eyes. "How long have you been there?" "Long enough." He crossed to me, placing his larger hand over mine on my stomach. "Mingyu, you've been sober for 3 months. You go to therapy twice a week. You're taking your medication properly. You're eating and sleeping and doing everything the doctors tell you to. You're already a good parent." Tears pricked my eyes. "I'm scared, Dumin. What if I mess up? What if I'm like my parents?" You won't be, he said firmly, because you're aware of the damage they caused. You're actively working to heal. And you have me. We're going to raise this child together, and we're going to love them unconditionally, whether they're alpha, beta, or omega. You really mean that? Every word. He turned me to face him, his hands cupping my face. Mingyu, I need you to understand something. I love you. Not because of the baby, though I'm grateful for that gift. I love you because you're brave and beautiful and kind despite everything you've endured. I love your strength, your vulnerability, your determination to heal. I love all of you. My breath caught. I think I love you too. I'm not sure I know what love really is, but this feeling, wanting to be near you, feeling safe with you, imagining a future together, if that's not love, it's close. He kissed me then, soft and sweet, pouring emotion into the gesture. When we parted, he rested his forehead against mine. We're going to be okay, he murmured. All three of us. 4 months into my pregnancy, my father called. I stared at the phone, my heart racing. I'd blocked his number after the overdose, but he'd gotten my new one somehow. Do I have to answer? I asked Dumin, who was working on his laptop on the couch. He looked up, his expression darkening. No. You never have to talk to him again if you don't want to. But maybe I should? Maybe it's time to tell him about the baby. About you. About everything. Dumin closed his laptop and came over, taking my hands. Mingyu, if you do this, I want you to remember something. You don't owe him anything. Not explanations, not forgiveness, not a relationship with his grandchild. Whatever you decide to do, I support you. But don't do it because you feel obligated. I took a deep breath and answered the call. Mingyu. My father's voice was cold as always. I need you to attend a company function next week. Your absence is causing questions. Father, I can't. Can't or won't. Both. My voice was shaking but steady. Father, I'm pregnant. 4 months along. I'm in a relationship with someone who loves and supports me. I'm getting help for my mental health. And I'm not going to expose myself or my child to your toxicity anymore. Silence. Then, pregnant? Who would want to mate with an omega like you? And mental health help? So you're admitting you're defective. Something Dumin had told me echoed in my mind. You're not broken. You were broken by people who should have protected you. There's a difference. I'm not defective, Father. I'm an omega who suffered years of emotional abuse from his parents. But I'm healing now. I'm becoming the person I should have been allowed to be all along. Abuse? We gave you everything. A home, money, opportunities. Everything except love, I interrupted. Everything except acceptance. Everything except basic respect and kindness. How dare you? I'm done, Father. I'm done trying to earn your approval. I'm done hating myself because you can't accept that I'm an omega. I'm done letting your voice in my head tell me I'm worthless. I'm having a baby and I will love that child whether they're alpha, beta, or omega. I will never make them feel the way you made me feel. My father was sputtering, shocked into silence by my defiance. Don't call me again unless you're prepared to apologize and actually mean it. Goodbye, Father. I hung up. My hands were shaking violently. Dumin pulled me into his arms immediately. I'm so proud of you, he murmured into my hair. So incredibly proud. I cried against his chest, but these tears were different. They were cleansing, releasing years of pent-up pain and anger. He'll probably disown me, I said when I could speak again. Good. You don't need his money. You have mine, and more importantly, you have your own worth that has nothing to do with anyone else's opinion. I actually feel lighter, I admitted, surprised. Like I just put down something heavy I'd been carrying for years. Because you did. He pulled back to look at me, brushing tears from my cheeks. You stood up for yourself and for our child. You set boundaries. That takes incredible courage. As my pregnancy progressed, Dumin and I settled into a life together that felt both surreal and right. He taught me about his world, the business, the family, the delicate balance of power and respect. I learned that while he was dangerous, he operated with a code. No drugs sold to kids, no human trafficking, protection for the vulnerable. I'm not a hero, he said one night as we lay in bed, my head on his chest. But I'm trying to do better. For you. For our baby. You're my hero, I replied. You saved my life, Dumin. Literally and figuratively. My body changed as the baby grew. My stomach rounded, my chest became sensitive, my hips widened. I felt awkward and ungainly, but Dumin looked at me like I was the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen. You're glowing, he'd say, his hands reverently touching my belly. I'm swollen and constantly need to pee. A glowing, beautiful omega carrying my child. He'd kiss my stomach, then my lips. Perfect. Our intimacy evolved during pregnancy. He was gentler, more careful, but no less passionate. When we made love, it was slow and tender, his hands and mouth worshipping every inch of my changing body. Please, I gasped one night as he moved inside me carefully, his cucumber thick but his movements gentle. More. I don't want to hurt you or the baby. You won't. I need to feel close to you. He understood, deepening his movements, his hands gripping my hips as he loved me thoroughly. When we came together, tangled and gasping, I felt complete in a way I never had before. The ultrasound appointment at 5 months was emotional. Doomin held my hand as we watched our baby on the screen, a tiny person with a strong heartbeat and active limbs. Do you want to know the gender? The technician asked. We looked at each other. Yes, we said simultaneously. It's a boy, she said with a smile. A healthy baby boy. Doomin's eyes filled with tears, the first time I'd ever seen him cry. A son, he whispered. We're having a son. That night we talked about names and nurseries in the future. Taejun, I suggested. It means great and talented. I love it. Doomin kissed my forehead. Kwak Taejun, strong name for a strong boy. What if he's an Omega? I asked quietly. Like me? Then he'll be a strong, loved, protected Omega who knows his worth from the day he's born. Doomin's hand covered my belly. Alpha, Beta, Omega, doesn't matter. He'll know he's perfect exactly as he is. My sisters reached out during my 6th month. Hannah called first, her voice tentative. Mingyu? It's me. Father told us about the baby. And the things you said to him. My guard went up immediately. Did he send you to convince me to apologize? No. I'm calling because you were right. About everything. Sujin and I talked and we realized we let Father turn us away from you. We let his obsession with alpha success make us forget you're our little brother and we love you. We're sorry. Tears spilled down my cheeks. I missed you both so much. Can we meet? All 3 of us? We want to apologize properly and meet the father? His name is Kwak Doomin. Pause. The Kwak Doomin? Yes. And before you say anything, he's good to me, Hannah. He loves me. He saved my life. Then I can't wait to meet him. The reunion with my sisters was tearful and healing. They apologized profusely, explained how Father's pressure had warped their priorities and promised to be better. You're glowing, Sujin said, touching my belly gently. Pregnancy looks good on you. When they met Doomin, I saw the fear in their eyes. They knew his reputation. But he was gracious and respectful, if a bit protective of me. Take care of our brother, Hannah said to him privately, though I overheard. He's special. I know, Doomin replied. And I will. I promise. Taejun entered the world on a snowy December morning, after 12 hours of labor that left me exhausted but euphoric. Doomin was by my side the entire time, letting me squeeze his hand hard enough to leave bruises, murmuring encouragement when I wanted to give up. You can do this, Omega. You're so strong. Just a little more. When they placed our son in my arms, still slippery and screaming, I felt a love so profound it was almost painful. He was perfect, tiny fingers, button nose, a head full of dark hair. Hi, baby, I whispered, tears streaming down my face. I'm your mama. I love you so much. Doomin was crying too, his finger gently stroking Taejun's cheek. He's perfect. You're both perfect. The first few weeks were exhausting, sleepless nights, constant feedings, learning to be parents. But we did it together, supporting each other through the difficulties. Doomin was surprisingly natural with Taejun. I'd wake to find him walking the floor at 3 a.m., our son against his broad chest, singing lullabies in his deep voice. You're a natural, I said one morning, watching him change a diaper with practiced ease. I love him, Doomin said simply. And I love you. Everything else is easy compared to that. 6 weeks after Taejun's birth, my father reached out again. This time it was different. Mingyu, may I visit? His voice was subdued, almost humble. I'd like to meet my grandson. And to apologize. Properly. I looked at Doomin, who nodded, leaving the decision to me. You can visit, I said carefully. But father, if you say one negative thing about me being an Omega, or about Taejun regardless of his gender when he presents, you'll never see either of us again. Do you understand? I understand. Thank you, son. When my father arrived, he looked older, more fragile than I remembered. He stood at the door of our penthouse, taking in the obvious wealth, the security, and Doomin's intimidating presence. Mingyu, he said quietly. You look well. I am well. He stepped inside hesitantly. I brought Taejun out, holding him protectively. My father's face crumpled when he saw his grandson. May I hold him? I glanced at Doomin, who gave a slight nod, then carefully transferred Taejun to my father's arms. He's beautiful, father whispered, tears running down his face. Perfect. He looked up at me. Mingyu, I owe you an apology that's years overdue. I was wrong. About everything. My obsession with having an alpha son, my treatment of you, the things I said, it was all wrong. You were never the disappointment. I failed you as a father. My throat tightened. These were words I'd wanted to hear for so long. You hurt me, I said honestly. For years. Your words, your disapproval, your constant disappointment, it almost destroyed me. I know. And I'll regret that for the rest of my life. He looked down at Taejun. This little one is lucky to have you as a parent. You'll love him unconditionally, something I failed to do. Yes, I will, I said firmly. Alpha, beta, or omega, he'll know he's loved and valued exactly as he is. As it should be. Father handed Taejun back carefully. I don't expect forgiveness, Mingyu. I don't deserve it. But I hope, perhaps we might start fresh? I'd like to be a better grandfather than I was a father. I looked at my son, then at Doomin, who squeezed my shoulder supportively, then back at my father. We can try, I said slowly. But it will take time. Trust has to be rebuilt. I understand. Thank you for giving me the chance. After my father left, I felt emotionally drained but also lighter. How do you feel? Doomin asked, pulling me into his arms while I held Taejun. Like maybe healing is really possible. For all of us. It is, he murmured, kissing my temple. Look at how far you've come, Omega. From that broken, scared person I found on the floor to this. A strong parent, a loving partner, someone who set boundaries and is building the life they deserve. We built this life, I corrected. Together. Together, he agreed. That night, as I nursed Taejun while Doomin held us both, I realized something profound. I was happy. Genuinely, deeply happy. Not the artificial happiness of drugs or alcohol, but the real thing, built on love, support, healing, and hope. I'd found my family, not the one I was born into, but the one I'd chosen and created. A mafia boss who loved me fiercely, a beautiful son who gave me purpose, and a future that was finally bright. I love you, I whispered to both of them. We love you too, Doomin replied, and Taejun made a small, content sound that felt like agreement. And in that moment, surrounded by love in our warm, safe home, I knew that I'd truly found my happily ever after. 3 years later. Papa. Mama. Look. I turned from the kitchen where I was preparing lunch to see 3-year-old Taejun running toward us, his little legs pumping. He crashed into Doomin's legs, giggling madly. I'm looking, little one, Doomin said, scooping him up effortlessly. What am I looking at? I drew a picture. It's our family. Taejun thrust a crayon drawing forward, stick figures in various colors. That's Papa, that's Mama, that's me, and that's baby sister. My hand instinctively went to my swollen belly. 6 months pregnant with our second child, a daughter this time. It's beautiful, sweetheart, I said, taking the picture. We'll put it on the refrigerator. Right next to the others, Doomin added, setting Taejun down. Our refrigerator was covered in artwork, photos, and mementos, a testament to the life we'd built. My father visited weekly now, a doting grandfather who spoiled Taejun shamelessly and had genuinely changed. My mother had come around too, slower but sincere. My sisters were constant presences, beloved aunts who loved spending time with their nephew. I'd started a foundation, using some of Doomin's wealth and my own growing confidence, to help young Omegas dealing with abuse and mental health issues. Giving back, helping others avoid the darkness I'd experienced, had become my passion. Doomin had gradually shifted his business toward more legitimate enterprises, using his influence for protection and community support rather than illegal activities. He'd never be entirely clean, but he was trying, for me, for our children, for the future. Mama, will baby sister be an Omega like you? Taejun asked, his big eyes curious. Maybe, I said, kneeling down to his level. Or maybe she'll be an alpha like Papa or a beta. What matters is that we'll love her no matter what. I'll love her too, Taejun declared. Even if she cries a lot like babies do. Doomin and I laughed, exchanging warm glances over our son's head. That evening, after Taejun was asleep and we lay in bed together, Doomin's hand on my belly feeling our daughter kick, I reflected on the journey that had brought us here. Do you ever regret it? I asked quietly. That night at the party? Taking a chance on a broken Omega? Never, he said immediately, fierce and certain. You were never broken, Mingyu. You were wounded, yes, but you had so much strength inside you just waiting for the chance to heal. I'm honored I got to be part of your healing. You're everything to me, I whispered. You and Taejun and this little girl. You're my whole world. And you're ours. He kissed me softly, lovingly. My beautiful Omega. My strong partner. The best parent our children could ask for. As I drifted off to sleep in his arms, I thought about the Kim Mingyu from 4 years ago, Lost, hurting, convinced he was worthless. If I could go back and tell him what was coming, I'd say this. Hold on. I know it's dark now, but there's light coming. There's love coming. There's a future so beautiful you can't even imagine it. You're going to find someone who sees your worth, who helps you heal, who loves every part of you. You're going to become a parent and discover a love so profound it changes everything. You're going to learn that you were never the problem, the people who hurt you were. And most importantly, you're going to be happy. Truly, deeply, completely happy. So hold on. It gets better. I promise. And it did. The house was finally quiet. Taejun had gone down easily tonight, exhausted from a day at the park with his aunts. Doomin had just finished checking all the locks, a nightly ritual from his more dangerous days that he'd never quite abandoned. I stood at our bedroom window, looking out at the Seoul skyline, my hand absently rubbing my 6-month baby bump. Our daughter was active tonight, doing little flips that made me smile. What are you thinking about, Omega? Doomin's voice was soft as he came up behind me, his arms encircling my waist, his large hands covering mine on my belly. How lucky I am, I admitted, leaning back against his solid chest. How different everything is from where I was 4 years ago. We're both lucky, he murmured, pressing a kiss to my neck that made me shiver. I found you when I needed you most, even if I didn't know it yet. I turned in his arms to face him. Even after all this time, he still took my breath away, those sharp features, dark intense eyes, the tattoos peeking out from his collar. But now I also saw the softness there, the love, the devotion he showed only to me and our children. Doomin, I whispered, reaching up to cup his face. Make love to me? His eyes darkened with desire, but concern flickered there too. Are you sure? With the baby. Dr. Park said it's perfectly safe, I reminded him, running my fingers through his hair. And I need you. I need to feel close to you. You're always close to me, he said, but his hands were already moving, sliding under my shirt to caress my sensitive skin. But I understand what you mean. I need you too, beautiful. He kissed me then, slow, deep, languorous. His tongue swept into my mouth, tasting, claiming, while his hands explored my changing body with reverence. I moaned against his lips, my own hands working at the buttons of his shirt, desperate to feel his skin against mine. Bed, I gasped when we broke apart. Please. He lifted me effortlessly, carrying me to our king-sized bed and laying me down gently. The care he took with me, especially now that I was pregnant, made my heart swell with love. You're so beautiful, he breathed, slowly removing my clothes. His hands trembled slightly as he revealed my body, my rounded belly, my fuller chest, my widened hips. Every change, every curve, perfect. I feel awkward, I admitted, a bit self-conscious. Big and clumsy. You feel like the Omega carrying my child, he corrected, his hands skimming over my stomach. Powerful. Miraculous. Sexy as hell. He kissed his way down my body, my lips, my neck, pausing to lavish attention on my sensitive chest until I was writhing beneath him. When his mouth moved lower, kissing my belly with such tenderness, I felt tears prick my eyes. Hi, little one, he murmured against my skin. Papa loves you. Be good to your mama tonight. Doomin, I whimpered, need coursing through me. Please. I've got you, Omega. Always. He removed the rest of my clothes, then his own, and the sight of him, all-powerful muscle and bronze skin decorated with intricate tattoos, made my breath catch. His cucumber was already hard, thick and ready, and I felt my body respond with a rush of slick. Even pregnant, you're so responsive for me, he praised, his fingers gently exploring, preparing me carefully. So perfect, Mingyu. He took his time, stretching me slowly, making sure I was ready. The preparation alone had me panting, my hands fisting in the sheets. Ready, Omega? Yes, Alpha. Please. He positioned himself carefully, mindful of my belly, and began to push inside. The stretch was exquisite, familiar yet always overwhelming. He was thick, filling me completely, and I gasped at the sensation. Okay? He asked, his voice strained with the effort of holding back. More than okay, I breathed. Move, please. He started slow, his movements careful and controlled. One hand supported my hip, the other rested gently on my belly, feeling our daughter move beneath his palm as he made love to me. You feel incredible, he groaned, his cucumber sliding in and out in a steady rhythm. So tight, so warm. Mine. Yours? I agreed, meeting his thrusts as best I could. Always yours, Doomin. He adjusted the angle slightly and hit that spot inside me that made stars burst behind my eyes. I cried out, my hands reaching for him, needing to touch him to ground myself. That's it, beautiful, he encouraged, his movements becoming more purposeful. Let me hear you. Let me know how good I'm making you feel. The pleasure built steadily, a warm wave starting in my core and spreading outward. Doomin's cucumber filled me perfectly, stroking deep, his body moving with practiced precision. He knew exactly how to touch me, how to angle his hips, how to make me come apart. "Doomin," I panted, feeling the tension coiling tighter. "I'm close." "Come for me, Omega," he commanded, his voice rough. "Let go. I've got you." One of his hands moved between us, fingers finding my sensitive length and stroking in time with his thrusts. The dual sensation was too much. I shattered, crying out his name as pleasure crashed over me in intense waves. "Mingyu," he groaned, his movements becoming less controlled as my body clenched around him. "God, you're perfect. So perfect." He thrust deeper, once, twice more, then stilled as he found his own release, filling me with warmth. His cucumber pulsed inside me as he came, his face buried in my neck, my name on his lips like a prayer. We stayed like that for a long moment, breathing hard, hearts racing in sync. When he finally withdrew carefully and rolled to the side, he immediately pulled me close, arranging pillows to support my belly. "Are you okay?" he asked, his hand moving protectively to my stomach. "Was that too much?" "It was perfect," I assured him, snuggling into his warmth. "You're always perfect." "Not me. We're perfect together." Our daughter kicked strongly as if in agreement, making us both laugh softly. "She's active tonight," Doomin observed, his hand following her movements. "She likes when we're close," I said. "She can probably feel how much love is in this room." Doomin's eyes went soft. "There's so much love, Mingyu. Sometimes I can't believe this is real, this life, this family, you. After everything I've done, everything I've been, I don't deserve this happiness." I turned in his arms to face him fully. "You deserve every bit of it. You saved me, Doomin. You loved me when I couldn't love myself. You gave me a reason to live, to heal, to become the person I was meant to be. If anyone deserves happiness, it's you." He kissed me again, soft and sweet. We saved each other. As we lay tangled together, our hands intertwined over my belly where our daughter rested, I felt complete. This man, this dangerous, powerful, tender man, was mine just as I was his. We'd built something beautiful from broken pieces, created life and love from pain and darkness. "I love you," I whispered into the quiet room. "I love you more," he replied, pulling the blanket over us. "Now rest, Omega. You and our daughter need sleep." I drifted off in his arms, safe and loved and content, already looking forward to all the tomorrows we'd share. Passionate nights like this, chaotic mornings with our children, quiet moments of peace. All of it, every single moment, was precious, because this was our happy ending. And it was perfect.